Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's video, we're featuring why JP format, when BT7 came around, blockers just disappeared from basically all topping decks. Blockers were almost nowhere to be seen. So why is that? Well, it's because of the cards in BT7 specifically. I counted 21 different cards in BT7 alone that basically say, I don't care that you have a blocker. I'm going to swing anyway, and you can't do anything about it. Don't forget, our memory marker for the month of January is going to be Pokemon. This is Renamon's baby form. So if you're excited for some EX2, like I know a lot of people are, this is going to be a great memory marker for Sakuyamon. That deck is doing pretty well in the JP format, so I definitely expect it could have some good potential when it hits over here. And so getting your hands on this memory marker for when that set drops will be an awesome choice. Also, if you want any of our previous memory markers that we've had on the channel, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can get access to all the previous memory markers we've had on the channel, but the benefit of going through Patreon is that you get the featured memory marker for usually a discounted rate. Okay, so I spouted off 21 different cards, and yes, I'm going to show you all 21 that I counted. There might even be more that I missed. If I did miss any, please put it in the comments section below. But let's go ahead and jump in here and just kind of take a look at things. Looking right off the bat, Emperor Greymon kind of staring us down in the face. This basically just screams, if you have a blocker and you try to block me, I'm going to get so much advantage off of it that you're going to wish you never blocked me. Just because it gains memory and it unsuspends itself. One, it just unsuspends, and that alone is really great. If you put any sort of piercing underneath this guy in some different form or capacity, then even better, because he's swinging twice and he's got piercing. Just basically says, I don't care that you have a blocker. If you block me, I'm just going to attack again. Also, I'm going to get free memory off of it. So the fact that he has blitz, he'll swing, unsuspend, gain memory back in addition to that, and then he just gets to attack again because it's still on your side or your turn, and then you can go even further into something else, like maybe a blitz Omnimon, and then swing again. Crazy plays there with Emperor Greymon. Again, just really punishing players for having blockers in play. Jumping over to blue, though, blue has so much stuff. Korikakumon here basically just stuns like crazy. So when digivolving, if you have a hybrid or Tommy in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block until the end of the next turn. Now, if you're not aware, Tommy as well really plays in great with these strategies. So for blues, one of blue's new tamers, we have Tommy here, and on play, trash the bottom 3 Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. So that's going to enable the Korikakumon to basically stun. So you're going to hard play the Tommy and then evolve into the Korikakumon, turning off those blockers. Okay, and that's kind of the general strategy. Also, the inheritable for Tommy is when attacking once per turn, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. So a double whammy. Oh, you have 2 blockers? Oh, sucks to suck. You still can't block. So really hitting these guys super hard when it comes to blue, letting blue do what they want to do. Jumping over and into the next card, we have Beowulf. When attacking, return 1 Digimon with hybrid in this Digimon's form. In this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the hand, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to its owner's hands. So, you can bounce any number of hybrids, level 4 or even a level 3, and then you get to bounce a level 4. So Beowulfmon just bouncing all those blockers back to hand, no fear at all. Also, we have his tamer as well in the form of Koji, and Koji allowing us to warp into the Magna Gurumon, which we'll take a look at in a second. But also, your turn, once per turn, when an effect adds a card to your hand, gain 1 memory, then this Digimon can't be blocked for the turn. So not only does Beowulfmon bounce a blocker to hand, when he bounced that inheritable to the hand, if you have Koji underneath, the Koji inheritable will turn off another blocker. So again, double blockers doesn't matter. That's super big punish. That's 2 different blue combos there where we saw that even double blocker isn't going to be enough. Jumping over to Magna Garurumon, same kind of deal here of when Digivolving and when attacking, once per turn, you may return one Digimon card with hybrid in its form from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to your hand to return one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as that Digimon to its owner's hand. So again, you can bounce a level 4 hybrid to hand off of this Magna Garurumon and you're good. Also, when you warp Digivolve into the Magna Garurumon with the Koji ability, the Koji puts a whole bunch of hybrids underneath this guy. So you can put, 4, 5 level 4 inheritables underneath this guy, so he's going to just bounce when Digivolving and when attacking both, so you can just double remove blockers off the field. Just very, very punishing for sure. Jumping down into yellow though, because I think we've kind of hit blue enough as it is. Yellow, looking at Rasenmon here, he has a Digiburst ability of Digiburst up to 4. That's really nice to control how much you want to Digiburst away. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn for each card trashed by this effect. And this is the main once per turn, so you could do effectively Digiburst 2 and then minus 6k on any blocker, minus 6k on pretty much any level 4 blocker will kill them. And then on the following turn, you can do it again, Digiburst 2 to kill another blocker. So, that's pretty nice getting multiple effects like that, every single turn with it. Next, coming down into green, we'll take a look at their tamer first in the form of JP here. And this is just JP giving the piercing as an inheritable. Essentially, any time green could possibly have piercing as just a free inheritable on essentially a rookie, that's insane. I mean, when is that not good? Having piercing on any sort of green Digimon is always incredibly valuable, and essentially getting it on a rookie level is very, very good. So the Beetlemon here, only a 5,000 DP, probably not going to be enough to get you through most blockers unless it's like a level 3 blocker. We do have the Metal Kabuterimon at 6,000 DP. This is going to get you over all those 5k DPs that people love. That one cost Evo really sucks people in, and then it just happens to be a blocker, so they really like those one cost Evo blockers. And then with piercing on this Metal Kabuterimon, you're completely fine. You don't have anything to worry about. Also, this Metal Kabuterimon, when Digivolving, if a card with hybrid in its trait or JP is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. So just because you can't pierce through that 6,000 DP, it's fine, because those 6,000 DP blockers, you just suspend them and then just run right past them, and then you're still good. So again, just turning off blockers like they don't even matter. Here's a card that probably doesn't get talked about a whole lot just because of the hybrid really kind of outshining this stuff. But when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. All of your opponent's Digimon gain your turn. You must trash 1 card in your hand to unsuspend this Digimon. So that's really, really powerful. If you want to block and somehow survive, you're going to stay suspended, or just, he's going to suspend something anyway. So if it's a blocker, you can get around it. Now, this isn't like tailored towards blockers specifically, and a lot of this stuff isn't really tailored towards blockers specifically. I can words, but it does work for them as well. So I went ahead and threw like cards like this into the mix. It's not directly really focused at blockers, but you can see where it can be applied towards blockers. So next we got Dorigoromon here, and this is the mega for the X antibody, the start of X antibody, I should say. It's going to go a whole nother level in later sets. But for this set specifically, when attacking once per turn, you may place 1 card with X antibody in its type from your hand at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with play cost of less than or equal to this Digimon's Digivolution cards. So you've got a level 5, a level 4, a rookie, and a baby, and then you use his ability when attacking. You may place another one that's 5. All those 6,000 DP blockers are all 5 play cost. So his ability, popping 2 blockers. What do you know? Another card taking care of 2 blockers. So again, double blocker isn't enough. And if you haven't like really paid attention by now, you realize how many blockers you have to have on field just to stop a single attack. And most of the time, you're going to lose most of your blockers anyways. Man, deck building for BT7 is a whole different ballgame. Absolutely. Next up, we got Cherubimon for purple. When Digivolving, you may play one purple Tamer card from your trash without paying its memory cost. Then, for each Tamer you have in play, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Wow, I mean, okay, you've got all four blockers from your whole deck on your field. Okay, I've got 4 Tamers, which in a hybrid deck is pretty common. 3 is pretty typical, maybe 4 if your opponent's allowing you to set up that much. But yeah, you should just go Cherubimon. I mean, at least 2 blockers is not, or 2 Tamers is not uncalled for or unheard of, especially when you get to play one for free when Digivolving effect. So having 2 there, popping 2 blockers, super easy. Next, we got Sistermon CL Awakened or Noir Awakened, whichever one you prefer. But on play, and again, remember we get to play these for free with Jessmon decks. So on play, you may place one Sistermon CL from your hand or trash at the bottom of this Digimon's Digivolution cards to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. We already talked about it, that 6,000 DP blocker, that's a play cost of 5 or less. All right, next we're going to kind of look at all the options, and there is a ton of options. We got Gigastorm now. This is a very powerful removal. Delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. That's so brutal. So similar to the previous forms that we had for the, the War Growlmon option card, where it was delete Digimon up to a combined DP of 8,000. This is just like delete 2, even if they're both 8,000, you get to delete them. So where the caveat to that would be like 6,000 DP worth on the other one, but limit of 2 targets. This is really good. A really great new removal card. Anyone still trying to work out some sort of security control? I know there's a lot of like yellow hybrid decks that are working in a little bit of security control tech. This is going to be a great card for those. Next, we got Thunder Laser for green here, a 1-cost option. If you have a Digimon with hybrid or 10 warriors in its trait, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Nice, simple, no gluts, no gory, very simple card, 1 play cost, just suspend that blocker. Get the blocker out of your way so you can swing past, swing for game, do whatever you got to do. Thunder Laser, pretty nice card for that. Just a nice little 1 cost. You could argue though that it's not as good necessarily as something else, because the security effect is just add to its owner's hand. It doesn't trigger insecurity. If that was the case, it'd be super good. So you might still stick with like the flower cannons or the needle sprays, but again, worth just putting in here for the sake of adding up how many cards just really shut down blockers in a single set. Now we got Dino Memory Boost. This is pretty cool. It's another Memory Boost card with the delay 2, but suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. 3 play costs to essentially do the same thing, but it's a memory boost card, so you get a little bit of extra memory on a follow-up turn. It's similar to like Howling Memory Boost a little bit, because Howling Memory Boost is typically played to like stun blockers. That's a lot of what's going on right here. We got Mugen here, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. 4 play cost, pretty steep. That Digimon doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase, so basically you get to stun those blockers for 2 turns with this card. 4 play cost, probably won't see a whole lot of play, but again, still worth mentioning. Brave Metal here, 5 play cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less. That's going to hit both blockers, so not just the 1-cost Evo 6 play cost ones, but the 2 Evo 5 play cost ones. So it's hitting both blockers. So that's a little bit more relevant to just be able to fluctuate and be able to handle both types of blockers. If you have 5 or more Digimon, 5 Digimon with 5 or more Digivolution cards and X antibody in its type, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon without X antibody in its type instead. So, I guess that's kind of neat. But again, we're just kind of focusing on that main first effect there. This card is so good. I've been testing this in multiple decks. Any kind of hybrid deck that doesn't need its baby and rookie package can just play a purple core like Tapirmon with Demi-Marimon, and then just throw this card in there, because you're going to have tons of hybrids with all those tamers that you're going to have for whatever color you're playing, and then just drop this for each Digimon of hybrid and its traits and tamer you have in play. Delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Level 5 or lower, so you're going to hit all those blockers that are in the level 4, but also all the level 5s. Yeah, I've done some pretty big wipes on this card. Definitely stay tuned for our feature match next week with yellow versus purple. You'll see this card put in some work. Also, you know, of course we got to mention Lucimon Chaos Mode here. Just on play or when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. So again, if you just need to somehow rush for game, you got to clear that blocker off. You know, he's nice and versatile. You can kill something big that's a big threat, or clear the blocker off the field so you can push for game on the following turn. You know, nice and generic there. And same thing with Susanomon here. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. You know, no stipulation on that. Anything goes. So again, it just applies to, with that security tech +2, you can definitely see the argument for wanting to clear a blocker, especially because, again, in our feature match next week, if you see it, there's a few times where Susanomon was just sitting on the field because there was a blocker with the Skull Greymon inheritable underneath it, and so you just couldn't get past it. So being able to remove blockers, especially against purple running Skull Greymon, that's very, very powerful, being able to remove anything in Susanomon, which being nice and versatile for that. And that is our 21st card in this whole set, 21 cards of blocker removal, essentially. Yeah, a lot of it's generic removal, sure, but you can see how it could be really, really tailored towards basically making your opponents not want to run blockers. When it comes to BT7 deck building, definitely give it a lot of thought on if you need blockers at all. Depending on what the format's going to shape up to be. Now, also caveat that we do have a different ban list than what was originally run in those, but I still think that all the cards that I mentioned here are still, you know, at full power. They're not limited in any way. They're all still affecting the blocker situation specifically. So, and that's every color we mentioned had a way to handle dealing with multiple blockers, 2 blockers every single turn very easily. So just keep that in mind.